Greetings. Welcome to Friday night. Hey, how's it going? You may notice a new little friend right over my shoulder has joined me. My awesome sister decided to get me this Pac-Man ghost for my birthday, and he reacts to changes in sound. Right now he's reacting to the music and to my own voice, which is pretty cool. She remembered. I told her, like, I think a few years ago that I wanted one of these, and then I sort of kept bringing it up. I stopped bringing it up, and I was gonna get one for myself, and then whenever I saw one, I was like, I don't gotta spend $30. But I have one now, which is great, and I actually want more. I would like to have them around the house. They're kind of awesome. So this guy's gonna be hanging out with me and keeping some light popping into the scene this evening. So I'm going to put him right off to the side up here, and he'll provide some extra illumination as the evening goes on. Welcome to Friday night, everybody. I really appreciate you being here. My name is Phil, but you probably already knew that because my name is on the bottom of the screen. Or is it the bottom of this side of the screen? I don't remember. I think it's over here. I forgot to put here. I'm gonna do my show comments on the screen again. I tried it last week. It's kind of a beta thing, so if anybody comments live, you're gonna be able to see your comments popping up, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. They should pop up in this corner, I think, right here. So yeah, you're free to interact with me and chit chat with me. I do draw at some point during this hour that I do a broadcast. But first, before I get started with that, I kind of want to talk a little bit about SeaWorld, because I went to SeaWorld yesterday. I spent the whole day. You may notice I have a little bit more sun on me. I spent my whole day at SeaWorld, and it was a birthday gift to myself. I got myself a season pass so I could go as many times as I feel like going. Really, it's as many times as I feel like making the drive, because it's like a 2-hour drive. But it was great. I grew up next to a SeaWorld. There was a SeaWorld in Ohio years ago, and next to that SeaWorld was an amusement park called Geauga Lake, and it was called Geauga Lake because there was a body of water there in Geauga County, and that, I guess, back in the day, I think before I was born, people would gather their picnic baskets and their loved ones, and they would go to Geauga Lake when it was just a lake, and they would have, lunch by the water, and maybe they would go fishing, maybe they would go for a swim, something like that. But eventually it became an amusement park, and when I was in high school, I worked there for a couple summers drawing caricatures, which was a lot of fun. And the company that hired me and taught me all that stuff, they were known as Commons Art Shop. So if you ever see a caricature artist at a big theme park, it's very likely that it's Commons Art Shop that trained them, because when I went to SeaWorld yesterday, I asked a couple of them. I was like, do you guys work for Commons? And they went, yeah. And I said, I used to work for Commons as well, many moons ago. And I told this one girl, I said, yeah, that was a long time ago. I said, when I worked for them. And she's like, when was it? I said, like 1996 and 97. And she's like, I didn't realize the company was so old. And I kind of got offended. I was like, hey. And when I said, hey, I thought she was going to laugh, like, oh, whoops. But she didn't. She just looked at me kind of confused, like, why did I say hey? And I had to play it off like, never mind, ignore what I just said. But anyway, so the SeaWorld I grew up going to, I lived like 5 minutes from it. It was SeaWorld on one side of Geauga Lake, and then the amusement park with all the rides on the other side. Nowadays, SeaWorld of Orlando and SeaWorld of San Antonio, and I think even the one in San Diego, if I'm not mistaken, they have taken the approach of merging those two ideas into one park. So it is an amusement park with roller coasters and attractions and shows that also features animals. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about that tonight because I've always been a fan of theme parks and amusement parks. I grew up loving Disney World and Universal Studios, and I even worked at Disney World for a summer. Hey, Samantha. One of my channel members has just arrived. Oh, I didn't need to put your. I guess if you know what, if you're a channel member, here's what I'm going to do. So I'm trying this thing in beta mode where we got your comments auto appearing over there. I don't have to do this other version of it, but you know what? If you're a channel member, I am going to highlight your comment anyway. So let's just make that a thing. So it kind of felt like 65-35, and by that I mean 35% of SeaWorld was animal related. That was the impression I got. And the other 65% was like rides and shows and attractions and food and gift shops. And I understand doing that. I understand trying to make sure you've got people coming to your park. I will say, as somebody that genuinely wanted to see a lot of animals, that was a little bit disappointing. I would have liked more of that. I did opt to pay for this special behind the scenes thing where I got to go and pet a beluga whale, which was just as magical as you think it is. It was wonderful, and I'm very glad that I did that experience. They had other experiences as well. They had it where you could pay for, like you'd get a wetsuit and they would let you swim with dolphins, or at least you'd be in the water next to a dolphin. I don't know how much swimming with dolphins you get to do. And I didn't do that one. Maybe eventually I will do that one, but I did not. I just wanted to hang out with a beluga whale. And he is, they said, the oldest whale in the park. He was like 39, and he's the largest whale in the state of Texas. Now you may be thinking to yourself, largest whale, Phil, the beluga whale is not as big as a killer whale, to which I will now have to inform you that killer whales are actually dolphins, and they are dolphins that are known for killing whales. That's why they have the name killer whale, not because they are whales who kill, but because they kill whales. So those technically do not count as whales. They are technically dolphins. I didn't know this. I knew there was something about them that was a little bit like not what everybody thought, but I didn't know it was that they're dolphins. Or if I did know that, I forgot about it sufficiently. Anyway, so I got to see them. I got to see the sea turtles. Interesting, says Samantha. Yeah, it is. It was very interesting. I got to see the sea lions. That was great. I love seeing them. Some otters. Otters were great. There were some giant tortoises. I briefly saw them. There were alligators. I did not go to see the alligators. It just wasn't. I didn't see everything. I didn't go to see the killer whales. I really wanted to, because I know that the killer whales that they have are the last killer whales. Like once they are no longer living, those killer whales are not going to be replaced with new killer whales. That's the end of it. So I intended to go and see them. My day didn't go that way. I kind of went in different directions depending on what I would check the map, and I would go, or on the app. I would look at the app and I would go, there's a show starting in 15 minutes. So I'm like, it's right over there. Great. So I would hightail it over to the place where there was a show happening. Or I was like, there's a ride near me I want to try. So I tried 2 different roller coasters. I tried a couple of water rides. One of the water rides closed down due to technical difficulties, so I didn't get to ride all of the water rides. I would have liked to have done that. Hey, Eden's here. She's one of my channel members as well. We did the behind-the-scenes tour of the fish aquarium and a behind-the-scenes of the penguin enclosure. Worth it. Okay, now, fish aquarium. I didn't see a fish aquarium. So if there is a fish aquarium at the San Antonio one, which I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, I certainly didn't see it. And it just, if you've been to the San Antonio SeaWorld, I'm not trying to knock it, by the way. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying there's things I would have preferred. And it just felt like everything, or almost everything animal related, felt like it was off to the side. Like you kind of had to go looking for it. But if you were on the main trackway, you know, that would be, it'd be really easy to find the next roller coaster or the next gift shop or the next restaurant. And I was probably designed that way on purpose. But to me, if you're making a park that has to do with animals, I would rather the animals be the main focus. Just saying. Samantha says, that just means you have to go back. Yeah, well, as it turns out, I can go back as many times as I want in the next 12 months because that's what a paid's for. So looking forward to going back to SeaWorld. Yesterday was my very first time ever being at the San Antonio location. I have been to the one in Orlando. I think it was back in like 2016, and that was the last time I've been to a SeaWorld. The one I mentioned at the top of this hour, the one I mentioned that was in Ohio that I grew up living 5 minutes from, is closed. And the amusement park, Geauga Lake, that was purchased by Six Flags at one point, that is now closed. It was purchased by Cedar Fair, who owns Cedar Point, which is an amazing roller coaster park in Northwest Ohio, kind of like central, not quite Northwest, but like a little more central. And I guess they bought it. I have to admit, it looks like they bought it just so they could run it into the ground and then just build up Cedar Point. Maybe they didn't do that. Maybe they bought it hoping they would have like a little bit more real estate. And when they realized it was too much to maintain or something like that, they just closed it down. I don't know. So I feel very fortunate to live now within relative driving distance. It was like a 2-hour drive. That's not terrible. It just means I don't want to make that drive very often. But you know, when you only have a location in Orlando and one in San Antonio and then one in California, there's just the three. Well, I think there's a fourth location now in Dubai, but I'm nowhere near Dubai. So when you have those locations and that's all you've got, you know, it's like, oh, cool, I'm not too far away. You know, versus living in like Idaho, then you're not really close to any of them. Or living in like Maine, you wouldn't really be close to any of them. So a 2-hour drive is you know, not too much to ask for, I don't think. Anyway, that's enough about that. I do want to say though, of the two roller coasters I went on, which was the Steel Eel and the Great White, I preferred the Steel Eel. It was more of a like this kind of a roller coaster where you just have like a hill and then a little hill and then a more hill and then a hill and hill. But very, very fun because as you're going up and down those hills, you're kind of like flying out of your seat a little bit. It's a great time to throw your hands in the air and kind of fly, and then your seat pulls you back in. I love doing that. The other one, the Great White, was definitely more intense. My problem with it was it did a lot of twisty, turny, upside downy things. And yes, I can do those kinds of rides, but they do, depending how the ride does it, it can make me feel nauseous. And because it made me feel nauseous and also was very like herky jerky, like whipping you from left to right, because it did that, it was a less it was harder to enjoy the ride and just kind of enjoy it. It was more like, oh my gosh, this is so intense. And that's fine if you're into that. I didn't hate it. The rides I cannot do, and this is not just a like, hey, Phil, you're getting older. This is like, I've never been able to ride these rides, even going back to when I was a kid. Are the rides that just kind of spin in a circle. I can't really do those. My stomach doesn't do well with it. I start to get very dizzy. I've always had a little bit of an issue getting dizzy, probably due to the way my eardrum or ear canal was formed. I get dizzy easier than I would like. So that's always kind of been a problem for me. So it's not that I don't think those rides look like a good time. It's that I literally do get nauseous on them, and I don't want to be nauseous. So that's really what it comes down to. It's not about being afraid. I'm not afraid of them. I just don't want to be sick. I don't want to throw up. I'm more afraid of throwing up than I am of any ride. Okay. So, yeah. And then the 2 water rides that I did was Journey to Atlantis, which was one of those really, really big, everyone's sitting in like a giant kind of boat thing. And then you go down a huge waterfall. And if you're standing, on the path in front of the ride, you get drenched. And if you're on the ride, you just kind of get wet a little bit. And the other one I went on was I think it was called like Cascade Falls or something like that. And that one was like themed as if you were going to like camping. It was like a weird, like you're going to climb up a mountain and have like base camp and things like that. That one was kind of neat because it was basically a log ride, but it was a log ride where okay, so you're going on the log ride and you're kind of going like a little bit up and down, but you're just kind of making your way around this, bend. And then when you get to the back of the ride, I've never been on a ride that did this. This was kind of a neat thing. You literally go into an elevator, and the kind of log thing that you're sitting in goes into an elevator, and you just get pulled up. And once you are at the top, it lets you go down this big old hill, and that's when you get wet. That was a lot of fun. The one I didn't get to go on was called like Rio Loco, and that was one of those big inner tube rides where everyone sits in a circle. I really wanted to go on that one, and the time that I went was just bad timing. I was in line waiting to get on, and they were like, "Sorry, everybody, we got to tell everybody to head back because we've got technical problems." So I'll have to go do that next time, which is fine. I think that ride's almost better with a group of people that you know. Although I don't mind riding with people that I don't know, honestly. I tend to make friends wherever I go. And so every ride where I was sitting next to somebody, I ended up like chatting with them anyway. So it really doesn't bother me. All right. Well, anyway, that's about that. That's all my SeaWorld talk for one night. I had a lot I wanted to talk about because, it was my first time at that park, and it was my first time going to a theme park in just a long time. So I did go to Six Flags, which is in San Antonio. I did do that a few years ago. I don't think I had as much fun. It was just okay. It's an amusement park. It's good. It's just not, I don't know. There's not as much stuff to learn about, right? It's just a bunch of it's all rides and a lot of games, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think some experiences work maybe a little bit better with people that hanging out with them, and then you can kind of just go, oh, let's go over there and check out that game, and maybe you'll play that game and lose, and we'll laugh or whatever, something like that. Okay, so what's been going on with why I'm here, which is new ad day. Well, I did start Scene 42. I think I started Scene 42 last week a little bit. I think I did a little bit of that. And then so in the past week, I've been working on Scene 42. Now, I obviously didn't draw at all yesterday. Let me see if I can check how many drawings in to Scene 42 I am right now. So I am currently 16 drawings. I'm calling it right here. I'm currently 16 drawings into the scene. Sorry, I just wanted to make a little note on I have a little notepad where I keep track of how all that's doing. So 16 drawings in, and this scene is all about the warehouse guy, and he's about to do this little spin super fast, kind of like how you can see my finger doing the motion blur thing. I may end up adding motion blur. I haven't decided that yet. That's a thing I'm kind of thinking about. But he spins faster and faster, and as he's spinning, smoke starts to appear around him as he's spinning, and then like a whole puff of smoke kind of like consumes him, and then the smoke clears, and we're left with just the stool he was sitting on. Excuse me. Which is pretty cool. And so it's like a little vanishing trick thing. I'm realizing right now, looking at my Looking at my drawing, I don't know if no, it's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. We're good. Sorry, I was just thinking maybe I forgot something in the past 16 drawings. I don't think I did, but if I did, I could go back and add it later. So what I'm going to do now, so the way I've been doing this, sorry, I kind of got sidetracked. The way I've been doing this, basically, is I've been imagining him, sitting in one position, and then I kind of like imagine him twisting maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 degrees, and then I draw that, and then I have him twist again another 20, 30 degrees, and I draw that. And so I'm drawing it in kind of these kind of keyframe type shots. And I've been numbering each drawing on a basis of 3, where they're kind of separated. Like one drawing, if one drawing is frame 1, then the next one is frame 4. So it's like 3 later. I've been doing that because I have a feeling that I'm going to want to go back in and add a bunch of in-betweens, which is what I plan on doing tonight. Yes, I do kind of want to move everything forward. Maybe I will do one drawing where I'm moving it forward, and then maybe I'll go back and do some in-betweening. I don't know. I was sort of kind of kicking around what I wanted to do tonight. But I'll show you the drawing. Pardon my voice just from cracking. That was weird. I'll show you a couple examples of what I'm talking about. Let me actually turn everything sideways here so we can get this going. But I'll show you what I've been working on. It's pretty cool. I'm actually really happy about how this scene is turning out. It is taking me a little bit longer than I thought, but the reason it's doing that is because it's like a lot of calculating. I'm sort of having to figure out a lot of, I'm realizing a character who is in 2 dimensions. I'm realizing him in 3 dimensions, and I don't have a maquette or a small sculpted figure sitting in the way that he's sitting, and that I can just rotate. But even if I did have that, I don't know that it would matter, because I'm constantly like moving where his arms are and changing his body location and kind of playing with like the fabric on his shirt, and just I'm kind of messing with all that stuff. So it's a lot of figuring all that out. So if you can see him rotating right there, let me see if I can turn my board a little bit. Can I do that? I think I can. Rotate that a little bit. So you can kind of, let me see if I can get this light to not blind anyone. That would be really great. All right. So you can kind of see he's like rotating, right? So let me just kind of like, right? You can kind of see that. Let me see what, I've got 4 drawings here. You can kind of see him rotating, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm working on, and I was gonna do, like, you can kind of see some of the smoke starting to swirl around him. I'm not clear exactly how I'm going to handle that in post-production. What I'm thinking I'll probably do is I will make it be like semi-translucent smoke, so that you can still see his body through the smoke, is what I'm thinking about doing. And then areas like his mask, which are solid black, I'm thinking that like once the smoke goes over top of that, that part of the mask won't be black at all. It'll just be like not colored in, is what I'm thinking about doing, to sort of give this a sense of space, right? And it's like, oh, okay, when the smoke is here on screen, that means it's in front of him, and so it's therefore kind of obstructing the color of what his stuff looks like, right? But that's sort of what I mean, I'm gonna have to figure that out later. The post-production stuff is later on, but I'm thinking about it while I'm drawing it. Okay, so I think I'll probably do. That was my plan. The next drawing I was gonna do was the next one in succession for this, so I think I'll probably do that. I was going to go back and do some in-betweens, but I'll be honest with you, I really want to get the rest of the scene figured out and then go back and do some in-betweens and just make sure, because I don't really know exactly how many in-betweens I want to do yet and where I want them yet. So I think I'll do that. I think that's what I'm going to do. So the phone lines are open if you're popping in And actually, I do want to point out, even if you're watching this like after the fact, when it's not live, feel free to put some comments in the comment section, and I'll get to your comments when I can. All right, so I want to do. Okay, that's what I want to do. Let's see if I can. Oh, it's not very far away. Okay. So I'll put some music up here. Oh, thanks, Samantha. Yeah, this is music from a game called Geometry Wars, which is more fun than it sounds. Ew, math. There's no math involved. It's basically asteroids. It's asteroids. If you've ever played asteroids, you would know how to play it. No actual math involved. Sounds like quite a misnomer. Well, it's because you're playing on a grid, so it looks mathematical. And all the things that are attacking you are geometric shapes. So it's not a misnomer in that sense. It's got a great soundtrack, though. The game's a lot of fun, too. So I'm drawing smoke now. I've got my character drawn. I'm just going to start covering him in smoke. I'd be blowing up math instead of solving it. Sign me up. Yes, Geometry Wars is blowing up math. That is correct. All right, so I've got all the smoke I want on him now, and he almost looks like he's floating a little bit, which is kind of the intention.
Ooh, boy, that was getting spicy. Oh, I knew what you're laughing at.
All right, I'm probably going to call it there. These drawings are taking me a little bit longer than usual. That's okay. I have to figure things out, and it's a lot of figuring. It's a lot of me staring and making decisions, and yeah. So this part's taking a little longer than expected. It's not a bad thing. It happens sometimes. It means I'm doing something that isn't readily obvious to me, or at least it takes a little bit more time to figure out. Just not a bad thing. Those are usually the things that make me feel more accomplished when I get them working. And so that's how I'm going to continue to approach this scene, as a challenge that needs to be strategized around and figured out. And yeah, and when it's all done, I'm sure I'll be glad that I stuck with it, because that's kind of how these things go. And just doing a little bit of touching up on this, but I think it's pretty much going to be good to go. And looks like it pretty much does what I want it to do. But I won't really know that until I scan everything and for sure test it out, make sure it's working. So that'll be for another time, because I'm not doing that right now while I'm on camera, and I'm probably not even doing it till tomorrow, honestly. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me, y'all. I appreciate it. A little bit of music, a little bit of drawing time. I will be back probably in a few days on some kind of vertical live stream. I don't know what day that's going to happen. Probably in a few days, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll see. Of course, these Friday Night Live draws happen pretty much every Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I really do appreciate you joining me tonight. If you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe on YouTube. It really does help my channel out a lot. And please follow me for free over at retailsunshine.com, which is where I'm building a community sort of outside of social media, slowly but surely building that up. But if you do like the social media thing, you can also find Retail Sunshine on Instagram and Facebook. So hang out with me over there. Make sure you say hi. And yeah, until next video, I will see you guys later. Have a great weekend. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it.